Now to a somber anniversary. It's been 8 years since BC declared the toxic drug overdose crisis a public health emergency. And today, that crisis is worse than it was at the outset. CTV's Rob Buffum reports.
Jessica Mikulowski ran from Nelson to Victoria last summer, raising awareness about the overdose crisis that claimed her son Aubrey's life. Nearly a year later, she's frustrated by the lack of movement on the crisis as more families lose loved ones.
I feel frustrated that 7 people a day continue to die.
Sunday marked the 8-year anniversary of BC declaring the overdose crisis a public health emergency.
This is an extraordinary challenge to us. I believe it needs the extraordinary step of invoking additional authorities under the Public Health Act.
Since April 2016, there have been more than 14,000 British Columbians, including Mikulowski's son, who have died from toxic drug overdoses. The number of deaths has grown steadily each year since the pandemic, a source of sadness for Mums Stop the Harm.
We see some progress in in awareness and in dialogue among, in the public. But we also see the politicizing of this tragedy.
The opposition would tackle the issue differently than the NDP. BC United says it would offer free treatment for those who need it and scrap both safer supply and decriminalization.
We have to stop this policy approach they have, which is trying to normalize drug use, and get back to treating people that are struggling with addictions and helping them to get better.
The addictions minister today emphasized reducing stigma associated with drug use, plus the province's push for more treatment beds. Harm reduction advocates like Mums Stop the Harm want to see more safer supply urgently.
We're in an emergency, a public health emergency. We're still in it, but there has not been an emergency response to this tragic situation.
What everyone agrees upon, 8 years into this emergency, the steps to date haven't been nearly enough in the face of increasingly deadly and toxic drugs.
And Rob Buffum joins us now live from Victoria. Rob, some interesting comments from the addictions minister when you asked her about decriminalization.
That's right, Nafisa. It's obviously become an increasingly contentious issue, especially in the lead up to this provincial election 6 months away. I asked her today if the government would consider ending decriminalization. She said any decision about that would come after the pilot project, which would be over, which is not for another 2 years. She did, however, say the government is very carefully monitoring it. She wouldn't rule out that they would eliminate it. She said they would make a decision if they were still in power as to whether or not it was working, and if it was decided it wasn't working, they would quote-unquote pivot. So again, this hypothetical is about 2 years away and after an election, but it's obviously an issue that's attracting a lot of attention. Nafisa.
Rob Buffum live in Victoria. Thank you, Rob.